I'm surprised there is no flat machined on this shaft anywhere for the drive pulley set screw. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I've got the first coat of paint on the frame assembly for the lower belt pulley drive. You probably really can't see it with all that junk in the background. Once again, it's time to clean the workbench. But yeah, we're getting close to starting to put this thing back together. I almost forgot about this collar. It was hiding in the parts washer. I've been doing that a lot lately, leaving stuff in there and walking off and forgetting about it. So I'm just checking these threads here. In an earlier video, I said I was going to swap out the slotted screwdriver set screw for a socket head, but this thing was so nicely machined. There's an indentation drilled on the shaft for the collar right there. I'm just amazed there's nothing on the end here for the set screw for the pulley. So I think I'm gonna drill one. I'm gonna fit all this stuff together and then match mark the hole onto the shaft, and then drill an indentation for the set screw on that for the pulley, because I mean, this is the main drive pulley and it drives the whole thing, and that set screw vibrates loose even if I Loctite it, and the thing slips, gouge up the shaft. Yeah, it's just not a good deal. Well, this is what happens when you leave stuff sitting in the desert too long. The critters move in. Bird's nest complete with eggs, and the mama just flew off because I disturbed her. So now I gotta wait for these to hatch and fledge before I can do anything with the Farmall H. Okay, that collar painted up quite nicely. So we're one step closer. Guess I'm gonna get this temporarily put together and get that hole match marked on the shaft and get an indentation drilled in there to mount that guy. This is an annoying little flying insect. Where'd you go? I lost him. Right there. That whiny buzz. They get here in the shop and they just hang around just to drive me nuts. So in the last video, I was talking about conjecturing about this hole in the outer pulley that was drilled to access the to drill a hole in the hub in the inside of the pulley and tap it for the set screw to hold it on the shaft. And I said, you know, they had to drill and tap and go through the outside to get to that. And a viewer commented on that video, which I pinned on that video. He said, hey, Matt, those are called pulley taps. Duh. So I appreciate the comment by the viewer. And like I said, I pinned it. And here's a picture of one. And that tap is fairly inexpensive. It was like $20. And that one happened to be a 3/8/16, which is the same as that hole right there. And so, yeah, pulley tap. So that educated me. I mean, a machinist teaching a tin bender or something, which I hate to admit, but my buddy Arnie's going to love. He's going to laugh like mad about that. So when you see that on ancient equipment, know that it was done with a pulley tap. My wife is as big a scrounge, or really, she's a bigger scrounge than I am. And she's always hitting the secondhand stores and thrift shops, you know, looking for goodies for her artwork. And she stumbled across this sign. But it gets better. Now, unfortunately, it's just made of laminated paper, so I can't mount it on the tractor, and leave it outside. But I'm going to find a place to suspend it from the ceiling or something, because it's just too funny to keep in a drawer. Well, I got some cleaning done. I got to get another coat of paint or two on that pulley frame assembly. So I'll shoot that, and then while that's drying, I'm going to start taking this little unit apart and start cleaning it up, getting it ready to go back on the drill press. If my voice sounds a little gravelier than normal, I mean, it's springtime here in the desert, and the Palo Verde and creosote bush is in full bloom, and it's just driving me nuts. All right. I'm not sure how that handle is fastened. It looks almost like it's pressed. You can see barely right there. That's been cut off. I don't know if that was swaged somehow, but that handle is on there really solid. I'm not going to try and take it off. I'm just going to clean it up as is. No point in trashing something unnecessarily. So, get this soaking in evapor rust and a little wire wheel work, and then we'll get back on putting the lower pulley drive back together. I don't know if you can see that or not from the glare, but I lined up the drilled indentation in the shaft with that drilled and tapped hole in the hub for the set screw, and it took a little doing, jicky-jacking back and forth and using the mirror and a light to get that hole to line up with that drilled indentation. I'm going to throw some Loctite on that set screw and screw it in there and cinch it down. Okay, that square-headed set bolt is Loctited in. As you can see, I went ahead and put a socket head set screw in that collar instead of the old one, because when I screwed that in, the threads were just too loose. They're stretched, and they just won't. I mean, with Loctite, they probably would grip, and that is an original part. But I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm just going to go ahead and put a new modern set screw in there. I'm not going to put Loctite on these threads yet, because when I mount this thing on the base of the drill press, loosening that and sliding the shaft back and forth is going to be my fine adjustment to get these pulleys to align correctly with the pulleys on the overhead, or with the overhead step pulley. So I need that leeway to be able to shift these a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to rotate this thing 180 degrees, and it is smooth. And I'm going to put that on here, the drive pulley, and I'm going to remove the set screw, and I'm going to reach in there with a long reach Sharpie, and I'm going to mark on this shaft where that set screw hole lines up. And I'm going to drill an indentation in this shaft so that set screw can lock into that really well. And then, yeah. Well, I got to think about that. Will that affect my back and forth alignment if I fix position that? Maybe I should wait till I'm sure those belts align before I final position that. We'll see. Let me think about that. All right, the set screw for this pulley is facing down, and I've put this pulley on here so this set screw will be facing up. The reason why I did that is for balance purposes, putting them on opposite sides of each other to just help to balance things out a little bit. Yeah, I am not going to drill this just yet and Loctite it in. I'm just going to put it in there and cinch it down a little bit and wait until I get this on the base of the drill press and then get belts on it. So in case I got to move things back and forth to get belt alignment, I haven't painted myself into a corner. So yeah, I'll get that set screw in there and just snug down and leave it like that for now. If you think this is bad, you ought to see me gift wrap something. Smooth as butter. Let's go mount that on the drill press. This baby's heavy. Okay, let's get at least one bolt started in there. Again, these are temporary fasteners till I can go and get some grade 8s. So I'll just snug these down for now. 3/4 inch heads on them. Yeah, that ought to hold it for now. Man, that does look good. All the belt pulley drive is now back on this thing. So this leaves me with another issue that I am going to have to address really soon. How to mount a motor on this thing and attach a flat belt from the motor to the drive pulley there. And I've got an idea. I've got some channel iron. We've got bolt holes in the base. I'm thinking I can come up with a channel iron frame that I will mount heavy casters to so I can wheel this thing around the shop. Extend it on back here with a frame that I can mount a motor to either down below or maybe up above. And I got to think about that though. Balance. Viewer Terry Cannon mentioned a while back that you got to watch it with these things. He's got one. Get too much weight on the back and this thing can tip that way. So I gotta watch the balancing business here. But anyway, I'm going to come up with some kind of a frame to mount a motor to and go from there. Well, part 30 is in the books. Man, 30 videos on this project. Whew. Where'd the time go? But we're getting really close. I just have, what do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4 parts left to clean up. It all mounts right here and on the other side here. And I already got a bunch of dust all over this thing. I'm going to have to dust it and clean it again. But so I'll get those parts cleaned up, mounted on here, and then it's time to tear into that electric motor. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching, everybody, and sticking with me on this long drawn-out project. But it's sure been interesting, a little bit entertaining, and quite a learning process. So we'll see you real soon on the next one. Bye for now, everybody.